Hello there, it's Sarah from Paper Lovely. Thanks for joining me today. I am going to be creating some Valentine's Day chip bags. So I saw these in an unboxing that Miss Avali did during Christmas time, and I absolutely loved the look of this chip bag. If you remember, years ago, Pebbles used to sell some of their die cuts in chip bags, and I don't know if they do that anymore or not. I haven't seen any for quite some time, but it was really cute. And I had looked for a tutorial video on this. The only tutorials I could find on YouTube were to actually cover a bag of chips for like birthday parties. So I thought, well, I'm gonna try and figure this out. Here's what I ended up doing. I took a 12 by 12 piece of pattern paper and I trimmed that into two that measured 6 by 12. And then I grabbed one of my dies. This is a smaller frame die from the Blueprints 32 collection by MFT. And I cut that out exactly in the center of each of these 6 by 12 pieces of pattern paper. I'm then going to go ahead and I lined all four edges of that on the inside with some 1/8 inch Scor-Tape. I'm then going to grab one of these cello bags, and I use these. They're A2 sized. It fits an envelope and an A2 card perfectly, and I use these for when I do craft shows or things like that. So I'm going to trim off the bottom of this to fit the size of that opening, and that way, since I've used the bottom, I will, once I've trimmed all the edges, end up with 2 squares, one for each of the bags. So I'm going to peel off that backing, and then I'll take one of those plastic pieces and place that down on top of the opening. And then I'm going to take some Scor-Tape. So I've got 1/4 inch Scor-Tape. Now I'm going to run that all the way along the top. And I was sort of thinking this through as I was going. So I've added along the top, and now I'm thinking about how I'm going to fold this closed. And I'm trying to be really careful not to get a crease, because I want this to really look like a chip bag, to not have any folds on the edges of it. So I'm thinking about how I'm putting this together, and then I'm going to take that 1/4 inch Scor-Tape and run that along one of the shorter edges here. And I'll do that for both of these. And then finally, again, I'm thinking about how this is going to fold, how I'm going to hold it together, and I'm going to run one more line of that along the bottom long edge of the bag. So here I'm taking my bone folder and I'm just trying to add a little bit of a curve to that paper so that I won't get the fold in it when I turn this in on itself. And I'm going to start out here by lining this up on my grid. So I'm making sure that that's nice and even. And then I found the easiest way to do this was to take a piece of Post-it tape and tape that down, just to help myself out a little bit. So I'm going to take the edge that does not have the sticky on it first and sort of fold that over, again really carefully, because I don't want there to be any type of crease as I'm curling over the edge of the bag. So I went to the center, my center line with the edge that doesn't have any tape, and then I went 1/4 inch past that. And then for the other side, I did the same thing, just lining that up, going to the center and then 1/4 inch over, so I end up having about 1/2 inch overlapping there. And then once I had that done, there I'm just making sure I don't have any creases. Once I have that done, I'm going to peel away the backing that is along the bottom section of the bag. And again, really carefully, I'm just going to make sure that window is in the center, and I'm going to press down that bottom edge, only the bottom edge, and I will create a crease there just along the bottom, and I'm going to take my bone folder and just make sure that that's down really nice and tight. So let's do that one more time. I'm again gonna line this up on my grid, and then I will tape that down with some Post-it. I'm going to peel away the backing on the side first, and then I'll take the side that does not have the tape. I'm going to go to my center line and 1/4 of an inch over, and then I'm going to go ahead and fold the other side, again going to the center line and 1/4 of an inch over from that. So I've got a full 1/2 of an inch that's overlapping. I may have actually gone a little further on this one. It looks like maybe I went 3/4 of an inch overlapping. And then I'm again going to go to the bottom of the bag, and I'll peel away that backing. And then I'll make sure that my window is in the center, and I'm going to pinch that down just along the bottom, or the top here because I have it upside down. And then I will go ahead and run my bone folder over that to make sure that it's nice and tight at the bottom. And those are going to create my 2 basic bags. So here I've sped this up really quickly. I'm going through my stash and pulling out some doilies and some stickers and trimming off some ribbon and just deciding what it is I want to stick inside this bag. I've grabbed some tags here. And then I'm going to trim off a bunch of these ribbons. And then I'll go ahead and stuff all of these down inside the bag. I fussed around with that a little bit until I was trying to make it so I could see most of everything that was in there. And then here, finally, I'm adding in a puppy heart. Those are crepe paper. I think they're Maggie Holmes. And I also added in some small little heart stickers that I got at Tuesday morning. Once I'm happy with how that looks, I'm going to go ahead and peel off the backing along the top of the bag. And I'll do the same thing that I did along the bottom, just pinching that together, making sure that it's nice and centered. And then again, I'll run my bone folder along that to make sure that it's nice and tight. And I'll do the same thing here with the second one. Just peel off the backing and then pinch that together, making sure my window is nice and centered. So that's the basis for the bag. Now I wanted to add the crimping so it really looked like a chip bag. And I played around at first trying to use my scoreboard, which worked, but it wasn't quite the same look. And then I remembered that I had this wheel for making corrugated paper. So I'm just placing that in there and holding it down nice and tight and running it back and forth until I can get a good crimp. Here I'm giving you a close-up look at that. I'm really happy with how that looks. Now you can mimic this using your scoreboard if you go like every 1/8 of an inch and then flip it over and do the same thing on the back, on the opposite side, and you will get the same type of crimped look. But if you have one of these wheels that you can put it through, it is a lot faster. So finally here I'm going to decorate the front. I have grabbed some of these Happy Valentine's Day stickers. This is also All of this is from the La La Love collection. And there I'm backing those with some regular Black Recollections cardstock. I'll add some 1/2" Scor-Tape to the back. And then I'm going to place those just across the top of that window. And then finally you'll see I grabbed 2 of the ephemera pieces. I'm going to add some of my pop dots behind there, and then I'll place those down off to the side of the window. And that will complete the chip bag. Here are a few close-ups for you. In the description box below, you'll find my blog post, which has additional photos and links to the supplies I used. If you enjoyed the video, please leave me a comment or a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.